Here are two shapes. One is called boba and the other is called kiki. Without any context, without knowing anything about these made-up words, I want you to guess which shape is which. If you pick the rounded shape for boba and the spiky shape for kiki, congratulations, you just did exactly what 95% of people do, regardless of what language they speak, what culture they are from, or even if they can read at all. But here's the question you should ask. How did you know that? These are made-up words, you've never seen them before. There's no logical reason why a round shape should be called boba, and yet somehow your brain just knew. What if I told you this isn't a coincidence? What if your brain has a hidden dictionary, a secret code that connects sounds to meanings, that exists before you learn even your native language? And what if understanding this hidden dictionary could explain why some words stick in your memory instantly, while others feel impossible to remember? Why some words feel more natural to learn and to remember than others? And why sometimes when you hear a foreign word for the first time, you somehow already have a hunch about what it means. Today we are diving into your brain's hidden dictionary. And once you understand how this works, some of the mysteries of language learning will suddenly make perfect sense. So what is actually happening in your brain when you instantly recognize that kiki is the spiky shape? It isn't magic. Your brain has built-in associations between certain sounds and certain meanings that exist across all human cultures. Researchers have tested this with remote tribes in Namibia who had never seen written language, with children who can barely speak, and even with people who are blind. The results were always the same. But the boba kiki effect is just the tip of the iceberg. Your brain is constantly making these sound-meaning connections, and they follow surprisingly consistent patterns. Take size for example. Say these words out loud. Teeny tiny versus enormous. Notice anything? The words for small things tend to use high-pitched sounds, like the E in teeny. Words for big things use low-pitched open sounds, like the OR in enormous. Again, this isn't just English. Across virtually every human language, words for small things cluster around high-frequency sounds, and words for large things cluster around low-frequency sounds. So your brain already expects little to sound little, and huge to sound huge. And we can actually use this knowledge for language learning. When you encounter a new word that follows these patterns, your brain already has a head start on figuring out what it might mean. When, on the other hand, a word fights against these patterns, it becomes harder to remember because it feels less natural. Here's one of the most universal examples: the word for mother. Think about this for a second. Across completely unrelated languages that developed independently for thousands of years, we have mama in languages like English, Spanish, and German, amma in Tamil, and ima in Hebrew. So they all landed on remarkably similar sounding words for one of the most important concepts in human history, in human evolution, in humankind. And this isn't a coincidence. These sounds, the M's and N's, are among the very first sounds babies can produce. They require the least complex mouth movements. So when early humans were developing language, the sounds that babies could make naturally became associated with the person babies interact with the most, their mother. And your brain still recognizes this pattern today, even if you've never consciously thought about why mama feels so natural and universal. Another interesting case happens in Japanese, a language I've been learning for the past almost year now. It has thousands of what they call ideophones, words that directly represent sensations, movements, and feelings through sound. Take pika pika, the word that Pikachu always says. It means sparkling, shiny, or flashing. And somehow that just fits, like pika pika. So even if you've never heard this word before, even if you don't speak a word of Japanese, there's something about those sharp, quick pika sounds that feel bright and electric. And that's not your imagination, that's your hidden dictionary at work. It's recognizing the connection between sharp, high-frequency sounds and quick, bright, energetic concepts. Japanese speakers didn't randomly decide that pika pika should mean shiny. Their brains, like yours, naturally associate certain sound qualities with certain types of experiences. The quick, sharp consonants and high vowels match the visual and emotional experience of something sparkling. Or take goro goro, the sound of something heavy rolling. Goro goro. It fits. Those low round vowels and that rolling R sound actually mimic the physical sensation of something heavy and round moving. Compare that to fua fua, which means soft and fluffy, like a cloud or a pillow. The light, breathy F sounds and the high vowels feel as soft and airy as the things they describe. So yeah, these aren't accidents. Japanese just made explicit what all languages do to some degree. It uses the natural sound-meaning connections that already exist in your brain. And honestly, I think that explains so much about the language learning experience that no one talks about. Why do some foreign words feel instantly familiar while others feel impossible to remember? Why does your pronunciation feel natural for some words but awkward for others? Why do you sometimes hear a word in a foreign language and immediately have a hunch about what it might mean, even before you look it up? Again, it's your hidden dictionary at work. And this is exactly why I built Lengia the way I did. Instead of forcing you to memorize isolated words, Lengia lets you discover vocabulary naturally through massive input, reading your favorite articles and books in simplified versions, and other content that actually interests you. When you encounter new words in context, your hidden dictionary is already working to help you understand them. The app adjusts to your level, so you're constantly getting that perfect balance where your brain can use the sound meaning patterns to make educated guesses, while still learning new vocabulary organically. This same system that helps you learn also tells us something significant about human evolution in general. These sound meaning associations aren't just random quirks. They might be the foundation that made human language possible in the first place. Think about it. If early humans had to assign completely arbitrary sounds to every concept, language would be nearly impossible to learn or remember. But if certain sounds would naturally feel right for certain meanings, that would make things much easier. If they were built-in connections between how things sound and what they mean, then language suddenly becomes much more learnable. This is called the sound symbolism bootstrapping hypothesis, and it suggests that your hidden dictionary isn't just helping you learn languages today, it might be the reason humans developed language at all. And you can use these patterns when learning a new language to get better guesses at what words mean. Pay attention to how words sound. Does pequeño for small in Spanish feel right to you? Those high, quick sounds match the meaning. What about enorme for huge? Those open, heavy vowels sound as big as the meaning itself. If you hear a word with sharp, high sounds in any language, there's a decent chance it relates to something small, quick or bright. If you hear heavy, low sounds, think big, slow or dark. Of course, this won't work 100% of the time, languages are complex and cultural factors also matter. But your hidden dictionary gives you a starting point, a foundation to build on. The next time you're struggling with vocabulary, remember that your brain already knows more about language than you think. You just need to learn how to listen to it. Now, there's one more layer to this that I find fascinating. Your hidden dictionary doesn't just help you guess meanings. It also changes how languages develop over time. Think about brand names. Why does Kleenex sound soft while Bounty sounds strong? Why does Google feel playful and Microsoft feel serious? They choose sounds that match their brand identity. Your brain then made these connections automatically. The same thing happens in natural language evolution. Over hundreds and thousands of years, words that sound right for their meanings tend to stick around, while words that feel mismatched gradually get replaced or forgotten. So languages naturally drift towards these sound meaning connections because they are easier for humans to learn and to remember. This also means that every language you learn is actually making you better at understanding all languages. Each time you encounter these sound meaning patterns in a new language, you're strengthening these same neural pathways that recognize them everywhere else. So that Booba Kiki test we started with, it was only a glimpse into one of the most fundamental aspects of human cognition, the hidden dictionary that connects sound to meaning, that helped our species develop language, and that's still working in your brain right now, making you a better language learner than you ever realized. Speaking of things your brain is better at than you think, there's another myth about language learning that needs to be destroyed. Everyone believes that children are naturally way better at language learning than adults. But what if I told you that's wrong? What if adults are actually better language learners in most measurable ways? That's exactly what I break down in this video right here and how you can take advantage of it. Thank you for watching and I see you next time.